when I got to Memphis, I didn't know who they were, and I spent a good deal of time in Memphis, and then went back to Albuquerque, still not knowing who 3-6 was. I brought some music back to Albuquerque with me, and I remember bringing Al Capone, Indo G, and Lil Blunt just dropped their Antidote, and so I brought that out there, and then I think I was out in Albuquerque for about 6 months. Then I came back, and when I came back to Memphis, that's when I heard 3-6. And, man, they were taking over the town in late 94, man. They were, saturating the streets of Memphis with underground tapes. They were dropping, like, new volumes constantly, and, man, it was amazing. I can't remember the first one I actually heard. Somebody gave it to me, and man, it had to be one of those Paul and Juicy tapes or Paul and Infamous tapes, one of those volumes, and it blew me away, man. I said, wow, this is a different sound. 3-6 really brought something to Memphis that was very Memphis in its own. Like, if you're from Memphis and you know how Memphis rolls, from the slang and the way we operate in the streets, 3-6 brought that and put it on tape, and it's amazing how they captured that. But when that Mystic Styles hit, I remember they had that single, The Summer, was on the radio. It was like one of the first Memphis rap hits to really take over the radio. I mean, there was Indo G and Blunt and 8 Ball and MJG. They had some songs on the radio before that, but The Summer, man, really took to the local charts on the local radio station and really blew up. But I remember running into those guys all the time in the streets. I think the first time I actually met them was Skinny Pimp had a tape shop in Fraser, and which ended up Oscar Barnes, the label I was signed to, he ended up taking over that shop and turned it into like a cell phone shop or a pager shop or something. But I remember going into that shop and to holler at Skinny, and all 3-6 was in there, but they were really young guys at that time. We had to be all about the same age, but I just remember seeing a bunch of young dudes in there about my age, and man, just talking to them and then finding out, oh wow, I think it was Skinny who told me, well, yeah, I know Juicy was there. I imagine Paul was there, and maybe Lord Infamous, and they were all hanging out with Skinny in there. So that's the first time I actually met him. And then I ended up moving to Southern Hills in 96, maybe, around 96. And DJ Paul lived right behind Southern Hills. And so I think it was his cousin, lived in Southern Hills with us, Lil Buck, and he would come over there with Buck all the time and ride through. He had an orange Suburban at the time, and I'll just never forget that. Paul coming, hanging out with us, and we used to love to chop it up with him. And that even led to me getting some production from him. So at the time, Paul, even though 3-6 was national, Paul still was messing with some of us local guys and on production, and he wasn't charging the extreme price that you could imagine he might be able to charge, and so, but it was reasonable. He was messing with us, I think, because we were from Southern Hills, we were from his hood, and man, I remember getting beats from Paul for $150 each.
Wow.
And yeah, and that was actually cheaper than Blackout was charging at that time, because Blackout was charging us $250 a track, and so I couldn't mess with him as much.
Wow. But, those prices ain't the same now, that's for sure.
Man, those prices hadn't been the same since 96. 96, 97, yeah. I think after
literally
that,
right after that,
Yeah, that World Domination hit, I think that kind of changed everything, and man, they hit a whole nother level of success, and things changed. Rightly so.
What was
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, share. Also go over to UJSforLife.com, download the entire archive, and check out new episodes on Apple Podcasts and Blog Talk Radio.